Okay, all right, so I just want to do a follow-up video. As some of you know, I did a video before in which I was questioning why $50,000 of public funding was given to Shannon Airport, okay, which is a completely private airport. And this was done against the recommendation of the Citizen Budget Review Committee. And this got approved because Mr. Skinner, our current Lee Hill Supervisor, pushed for a $50,000 grant to be given to the Shannon Airport Museum, in his own words, for building maintenance, because he claims that this would boost tourism. Now, the chairman of the Citizen Budget Review Committee, I feel, was berated and spoken down to because he dared to ask a question as to why Shannon Airport should receive $50,000, considering the fact that aviation museums are very difficult. And he used the example of the Richmond Aviation Museum that had to close down because they only had 13,000 visitors. And so being that we have a much smaller population, it doesn't logistically seem that it would really bring a whole lot to the Fredericksburg area. So do you think that people would come here to Fredericksburg to check out the Shannon Airport Museum? So just a couple of facts that you can easily find online. Now, these are dated population facts. These are from 2015, but at the very least, they give us an idea. Look at Richmond's population, 220,000 plus people, and Fredericksburg, 28,000 plus people, granted, as of 2015, but still. So in essence, we have 1/12 of Richmond's population. Fine, whatever. Now, Mr. Skinner also stated that Eastern Airlines got started in Spotsylvania County. I can't verify that. None of the search engines are showing that. But we do know for sure that Eastern is defunct and it flew its last plane this past September. If you go online and you Google Shannon Airport, you will see an article and you can read it in which it states that the museum was reopened this June 3rd. A phrase that caught my attention is the following: "What you see today is just a fraction of what we're going to hope to build, a 25,000 square foot museum," said Gary Skinner, a Spotsylvania County District Supervisor. So who is we? Now, did you know that Gary Skinner is the Shannon Airport manager? Okay. Would you like to know what his salary is? So would many of us here in Lee Hill. This other phrase also got my attention. He envisions a partnership between the county government and private sector. Okay. Is there a possibility that he envisions more public funding for this private organization, the airport, that could potentially lead to his future pay raise? So I went to the courthouse. I asked to see his statement of economic interest. This is his handwriting. He's the one who completed this. He took it to the courthouse. That's his signature. It's dated this past January. And I looked at a Schedule A. It appears that as of this past January, if this is accurate information, he worked for Lowe's as a salesperson. Okay, fine. Would you like proof that Mr. Skinner works at the airport? Well, I will show you. So this is his website. Most of us would check the About Gary tab. That's where we would normally be conditioned to look for his employment, but we don't see any mention of his employment there. So you really have to look. You have to go to issues and then to tourism. And once you scroll down, you do find it. Right here, Gary knows tourism business particularly well because he is the airport manager at our county's only airport, Shannon Airport. Then here, Gary does not need on-the-job training when it comes to attracting tourism dollars. So is it possible that when someone is a Lee Hill supervisor for such a long time, as in the case of Mr. Skinner, that they can push to give grants of public funding to private entities that will then become their employers? So here we see that the director of Shannon Airport is making a response video, and this is excellent. But pretty much what he's saying is that everything is a lie, that Shannon Airport was never given $50,000, that he solicited Mr. Skinner on his experience. Now, I'm going to assume that has nothing to do with his Lowe's experience. But then the question is, how many other applicants were there? What was their experience? And what exactly made Mr. Skinner the most qualified for this job? And one does have to wonder, doesn't the timing of the employment seem rather suspicious? So here is the budget. And I've got to say, it's very long. There's a lot of information. So to save you time, I am simply going to do Control F, and I'm going to type in Shannon Airport. And here it is. $50,000 is added to the budget for funding of the new airport museum located at Shannon Airport. This funding is contingent on development of a memorandum of understanding to be approved by the board of directors to include the amount of funding and term over which the board will continue support of the museum. So does that mean that we are now obligated to continue giving Shannon Airport public funding? If you'll allow me, I'm going to share an email that I got several months back, and this is from someone else in our community. And I'm going to ad lib here, but you can read along. Supervisor Skinner at the last Board of Supervisors meeting Tuesday night took advantage of his position on the board to announce an event at Shannon Airport. This is a private business that will be charging an admission to an event at the airport. This demonstrates a conflict of interest, obviously because he's the airport manager, as well as Lee Hill Supervisor. Supervisors should not be advertising at official meetings, events run by private enterprises, let's add in there, or their employers. He could have put it on his webpage if he had one or post it to Facebook. But the county is not a sponsor, co-host, or supporting this event, as the county administrator, Mark Taylor, did not announce it. This is another example of abuse of power. Skinner should recuse himself from any action that has to do with Shannon Airport.
Particularly one, Supervisor Skinner had requested consideration that the board hold its September 26, 2017 work session at the Shannon Airport. This was a item or an activity discussed earlier in the year, and we had problems with the date. Now we're looking at September 26th. Wanted to remind the board estimated cost from IT would be between $3,000 and $4,000. As a benchmark, public hearing for the budget at Cortland High School cost us $3,700 and some dollars to produce at that location this year. So that's about what it would cost. And the direction of the board is sought on the matter because we would need, check me on this, Carl, a resolution by the board.
I will also say that right now I will not vote on this. I will abstain from any vote tonight because, as you know, I am an employee of the Shannon Airport. Okay, so I will not vote on this, and I will abstain.
Mr. Chair, I'm not in favor of this for the costs, for one thing. But at our budget hearings, there was a lot of people upset when we said we were moving down. Granted, that was during the public or the budget season time, but I just don't know that this is worth spending another $3,700 at the airport. Didn't we give them $50,000 in the budget to help them along this year? So I think we've already done our fair share of supporting the airport. I'm not going to support moving it just because of the reaction from the public from the last time. Any other discussion?
Okay, I don't want to make this video too long. In a nutshell, this is how the votes unfolded. So those who were supporting changing the venue, even at a cost of $3,700 to the county, were Yakubowski, Cibula, and Champ. Those who voted no were McLaughlin, Ross, and Benton. Whatever you do, just vote. I won't tell you for whom you should vote, but definitely vote. It is critical to vote, especially this year. It is an off-election year. And if you're like me, you might think it's time to drain the swamp. So, alrighty. And you can see that the county budget does show $50,000 for Shannon Airport. You can see that Mr. McLaughlin verbally confirmed it. And you can get all of this information. It's public information. You just have to do a little bit of digging. So there you have it. I leave it entirely up to you for you to determine who has a casual relationship with reality. But whatever you do, make sure you vote. Okay, bye-bye.